writing a piece, like experimental, with everyone's talents used.
First of all, we started with warm-up exercises just to introduce ourselves and get us warmed up through making various sounds.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, stop.
We started with storyboards, which gave us the main themes for what we're doing at the moment.
To make the storyboard, we had to draw pictures of a journey, and then sort of in our separate boxes, we had to list what sounds we would hear. The last thing that we had to do was then write sort of the emotions that you were feeling at the time. Now we're trying to come to the sort of final piece of it, and we've got our sort of 3 main themes where it's we're in a dream, and there's sort of a conversation going on, and it turns into a bit of an argument, and it sort of leads into a sort of regretful theme.
We kind of just merged all of them together to make this piece.
I've never made music like this, because it's normally just playing what's on a sheet and the story that people have given me but this we're kind of making up our own story and putting it all together and improvising.
I'm sure there are a lot of people who haven't thought of making music this way, and if they do, it might open doors for them to help them make even better music than what they're making.
Basically, this type of music making kind of shows you how many different possibilities there are. Before, I just played in an orchestra and in my lessons, so I kind of knew those sort of pieces and playing in a group, whereas here now there's all these possibilities with the technology. You've got these programs that you can do anything with any sound, and it just shows you that there's so much more out there.
Yeah, it's completely different to what I've done before. I usually write completely different music from this, so I could probably incorporate it into some of the stuff I do.
I definitely think I'll be able to use it, because most of the things that I write at the moment are very kind of they're very samey. They have the same kind of styles and the same kind of themes, so thinking this way might help me to write different music and give me a more varied set list.
I think it's quite a good way of composing, actually. It's introduced me to a whole new way, I guess. I think other places where you would use this sort of method of composing would be in film scores. So we did our storyboards, that was taken from the idea of how sort of film producers and everything will produce their music for it. So they create or they draw down the scene that is going to happen, and I guess they sort of write down how they're going to feel and everything, and then they try and compose something to convey those feelings through music.
I thought it was quite a challenge, but more interesting and more creative and fun than it was a challenge. It felt more like I didn't feel challenged in a frustrated way, I felt challenged in a creative way.
I probably did workshops not far off 20 years, and I came in and kind of probably had all those things that I did all this time ago, because it was quite a new experience for me in working and bringing together such a sort of extreme range of musicians. It was very much about getting a starting point. I have to sort of have starting points, because and I'm also very prepared, and I like to know what's going on and structure and all of that. And we came in yesterday and it was a bit, oh, okay. And it quickly became apparent to me that everyone in the room was in a similar position, which actually is quite comforting. And I think as soon as it was, there was some direction, then everyone ran with it.
My experience of making music, particularly in my personal life, is really computer-based, either recording lyrics into a computer or making beats on a computer. I don't play an instrument myself at all, so it's kind of everything I do is really just by ear and just working out what sounds good to me, basically. As a music leader, I definitely say this has kind of broadened my horizons. It's given me a lot of tools, particularly like the way that we started off the whole creative process. It was a real kind of new way of doing it for me. And I just found it really interesting, the ideas that came from it, and the different ways that people interpreted those exercises.
It's that little little switch that goes in the young person's eyes. I always tell when they kind of go, oh wow. And it's a real kind of genuine, wow, this is a completely new experience and I'm liking it, sort of thing. And every single one of the young people we work with, I saw that.